my other computer for the two-shot.
Yes.
We were doing a two-shot once, Terry, and it's on my other camera through my laptop, and it went out. I'm like, what? I forgot to like put yes. I acknowledge that it's being recorded, so it froze.
Oh.
And so while they're
It's
talking,
getting
it's just
senile. yeah. I'm frozen like in a pose. At least it wasn't like me picking my nose or something.
Oh, gosh. That would be funny.
Yeah.
all right. About 30 seconds.
All right, thank you. Here we go. Welcome, everybody on the stream. We have the incomparable Terry Barr to start us off, followed by the Lieutenant Governor and all kinds of other great stuff. So here we go.
From the Civic Media World Headquarters in Madison, Wisconsin, it's the Todd Allbaugh Show. And now, pursuing truth wherever it may lead, here's your host, Todd Allbaugh.
Across Wisconsin on the Civic Media Radio Network and streaming worldwide on the Civic Media app. Good afternoon, everybody. Todd Allbaugh, along with Mr. Aaron Zommers, our producer and engineer on the board. It is 6 minutes past the hour of 2 o'clock on this Tuesday, November 11th, 2025. It is a great day to be a Wisconsinite. Welcome in, everybody, on this Veterans Day. Happy Veterans Day, and thank you. Our gratitude to all the men and women who have worn the uniform, not just in the state of Wisconsin, but all across the country and around the world, representing and protecting the United States of America. Live here from the world headquarters in downtown Madison of Civic Media at the intersection of State and Fairchild. A beautiful day, Aaron Zommers. Should we take a look at the old Sam Davison street cam? Look at that. Beautiful out there. Sun is shining across golden leaves here on State Street as a bus just ran a red light. No, not really. I believe it is following the traffic signal, so we're all okay, fine there, Aaron. But we went over to Wonder State, got a little coffee before the show, Zommers. Beautiful fall day.
Very much so. And, you know, it's not crazy windy. You're not going to get knocked over walking across the street.
I think it's supposed to warm up into the upper 50s. Partner, as they say, hit 60 before tapering back off this weekend. So
That's what I've seen,
It's that time of year. It's that time of year. It's a fall time of year. Great show lined up for you today. Invite you to stay with us the entire time. I think you're going to be informed and hopefully a little entertained as well. You learn something along the way. It is Veterans Day. We have, for those watching on the stream, Facebook, YouTube, what used to be Twitter, X, Twix, whatever you want to call it. We have a American flag on the set here behind us in remembrance and thanksgiving to all those who served. And going to be talking about Veterans Day here with our friend Terry Barr in just a moment. And then at the bottom of the hour, after Pam Yonke's Midwest Farm Report, a very special guest in person. We love it when that happens here in the studio. We have Wisconsin Lieutenant Governor Sarah Rodriguez is going to be in, and maybe the most interesting title that she has today is Registered Nurse. That's right. Our Lieutenant Governor is a registered nurse, and so she understands healthcare particularly well from a personal level. She is going to be here helping us talk through and understand the ramifications on Wisconsinites after what's happening with the government shutdown in Washington, D.C., and the refusal by Republicans thus far to extend the tax credits for the Affordable Care Act, better known as Obamacare, and what that means to Wisconsinites, how they can navigate that. And, oh, yes, by the way, she's running for Wisconsin governor. We'll catch up with her on the campaign trail as well. That's coming up at the bottom of the hour. But right now, we are joined by our friend, our colleague. She is so gracious enough to be the announcer for this show, but more importantly, she's a multi Emmy award-winning journalist. Our very own Terry Barr joins us via StreamYard. Terry, how are you?
Hi there, Todd and Zommers. It's great to be here with you guys. Thank you for asking me to join you, and I'm doing great. How about both of you?
I'm doing well. Thank you. It's always great to have you along. You're one of our favorite people, and you've been with us since the beginning, and I appreciate the support on this show and all you do for us. And Shelly Pittman, our news director, she works so hard every day and sends us internally what's going on in the company. And I didn't realize this until I read Shali's memo today. I came upon this reporting that you have done on Veterans Day and the link it has to Wisconsin. And I'm
Yeah.
like, holy crap, I got to see if Terry would come on the show. And you were kind enough to do it on short notice. So thank you for doing this.
Oh, it is no problem, and honestly, it is my honor to be able to share this story with you and all the things I found out about this Wisconsin connection that seems to have been lost to history a bit. So I'm glad that we are able to share this with all the listeners and those watching on all the various streams and things. This is a great story, Todd.
It's a little known story, a little known
Yeah.
history. A man named Harvey Higley. Tell us, Terry, how did you come to report this, to write on it? Did you know about this? How did you come to find it?
Well, it's one of those where you're digging and digging because you want something different. You wanna be able to tell somebody else's Veterans Day story, but not, the same way maybe you've done it in the past. So as I was digging, I found out the Wisconsin Alumni Association had also been doing a little digging to try to find different stories about people in every single county of the state, and some ended up having some interesting Veterans Day stories. So here we go. Here comes Harvey Higley from Marinette County. He went to UW Madison, and then Todd Pritchard with the Wisconsin Alumni Association was kind enough to give me the first part of the history about Harvey. Let's take a listen to that. Honestly, the background here is incredible. What can you tell us about Harvey Higley?
Yeah, Harvey is an amazing guy and has an impact on us every year, and nobody knows about it. So, a little background. Harvey graduated from the University of Wisconsin in 1915, and just 2 years later, he found himself in the battlefields of France. He went over for World War One, and it left such an indelible impression on him. The bravery, the sacrifice of those Americans that went over to fight in World War One, he never forgot that. He never forgot the horrors that he saw there, the bravery, and it really became just embedded in the rest of his life. So he survived the war. He came back. He worked for Ansell Chemical in Marinette for many, many years, later became the president. But he never forgot the men that he saw so bravely fight in World War One. So he really dedicated the rest of his life to helping those men and women and making sure that they weren't forgotten. He went on to he was the commander of the American Legion in Wisconsin right at the beginning of World War II. He was part of the Eisenhower administration. He became the administrator of Veterans Affairs, and he took on that role right as the World War II was ending. Right, this was I think he became part of that administration in 1953. He took on that role right as World War II obviously had ended, and the Korean War was still going on. So that was the time in American history where we had the most veterans to take care of. And unfortunately, there were a lot of financial issues going on in the country. We had just fought a major war. We're still in another war, right? And so he really fought hard to make sure that those veterans got the benefits that they were promised and that they deserved.
That's Todd Pritchard with the Wisconsin Alumni Association on the life of Harvey Higley and being reported by our Emmy Award-winning journalist, Terry Barr. Terry, and I want to remind people that this entire interview is over 10 minutes long. They can find this entire story, the interview, at civicmedia.us, where the entire thing is. But what a remarkable background here on a guy that I didn't know existed until your reporting.
Isn't it? I mean, I said incredible as I was talking to Todd about this story. And it really is. I was so glad that he and I could kind of dive into this together to see what we could both dig up. And then when we found that tie into UW-Madison, it just became a great story for Todd and I to share together. Harvey, while he was the administrator of Veterans Affairs, he's also the one that created and had the bill signed for the GI Bill so that people could go back to school when they returned from service. He also made sure the veterans hospitals would allow African American soldiers in for treatment. So he did a lot of things, but then he also took aim, if you will, at November 11th. And there's a little history behind this too, so I'll have Aaron play that for us.
This is Todd Pritchard, the Wisconsin Alumni Association, on how Harvey Higley picked November 11th.
Yeah, so Terry, he thought, how can we really dedicate a day to veterans? And there wasn't anything like that, right? So November 11th for 50 plus years was always known as Armistice Day. It was the day that World War I ended. If you're a history buff like me, you probably remember learning in school, it was the 11th hour of the 11th day of the 11th month. But it was always known as Armistice Day. It was a day to remember the end of World War I. But there was no day to honor veterans. So he felt like, this needs to be in our vernacular that we use these days, it needs to be rebranded. It needs to be changed. We need to reframe this day to make sure that we're remembering the men and women who have sacrificed throughout American history. So he got together with a congressman from Kansas, Ed Reese, through Congressman Reese's influence, and then, of course, Harvey Higley's continued influence with the Eisenhower administration. They got together and created a bill to change Armistice Day to Veterans Day. And that's what we celebrate now every year.
Todd Pritchard of the Wisconsin Alumni Association in conversation with our own Terry Barr, who joins us via StreamYard here. Terry, the more I hear in this interview about this guy, Harvey Higley, I mean, this should be, maybe I failed. Maybe I didn't pay attention in my Wisconsin history class.
No.
But to think about, here's a guy who helped start the GI Bill, who integrated people of color into Veterans Affairs and getting services,
Yep.
and now being so integral in making Veterans Day the name, as he said, the brand. Wow. And it all comes from a Wisconsinite.
Yes, absolutely. And we talked about when Todd and I from Wisconsin Alumni Association were talking, he said too, and I agree, the more that we could find about Harvey Higley, the more we couldn't believe the things he did to help veterans. And of course, he was one himself, but he just believes so much that these people that have gone and, served our country, and we are so grateful to them, he just didn't think they had enough. So I
Yeah.
just love this story. I'm so glad that we were able to dig out a Wisconsin piece and to be able to share this with everybody. It's just so great.
It
And
really,
feel
go ahead.
bad, Todd, because Todd Pritchard said many people have known nothing about this. He's not
Wow.
mentioned in the museum in Wisconsin. And now I think Todd is hoping that maybe we can get attention to this.
Yeah.
And not only can he be remembered in his hometown of Marinette, but in Wisconsin as well.
And we're going to, and through Terry's great work here reporting, we're going to continue this story and find out why this has been overlooked. Todd Pritchard will tell us that on the other side. Going into break and out of break for this hour, we are going to be playing all of the Service Academy songs as our bumper music, as they say. So the first one up here is to honor our veterans in the United States Army. As we go to break in honor of all those that served in the Army, stay tuned. The Todd Allbaugh Show continues here on the Civic Media Radio Network, along with our own Terry Barr, as we think of and honor all of our veterans on this Veterans Day 2025.
WMDX for people who
That's
always
one,
put
as they
curds
say.
before
I thought we
carbs.
were doing it starting now.
Drill out of my face. Hey, no one
Now?
wants to get their teeth
Or, I mean,
drilled at the
starting
dentist,
on the way
right?
into the
That's
next
why I
one.
stopped.
Oh, I'm sorry.
This is
No,
Dr. Chris Cameron from
I meant
Victoria's
if we
Dental.
go,
When
because
you
we
can
go.
heal cavities with brush-on medicine, why
Yeah,
would
one,
you ever
two,
want to amputate
The
tooth
way-
structure
four,
with a dental drill?
5, 6,
There are
right?
no dental drills at Victoria's
Did I say it
Dental,
wrong?
and no shots either. Don't need
For those watching the stream, Todd sometimes gets confused.
I mean, that leaves one more out at the end.
We have one extra, as they say.
Yeah.
All right.
So
Well, that's fine.
Okay.
All right. Sorry. That was called my bad. I should have left it to my producer. That's on me, not Sommers.
You guys,
But it
this
was-
is the
it was
best
still fun.
reason to watch YouTube and the stream because you guys are so funny.
Yeah, this is how the sausage is made, everyone.
Yeah.
The real
I
brains of the
love
operation
this.
is Sommers, not Todd.
Oh my gosh.
Because I was looking, I'm like, it's 19, and they're like, you didn't start it, and I'm like, am I off? Is the clock off? No, it's just that Todd said it wrong. That's why. And that's a good point that Scott or whoever has on the text will address that, and we come back saying that. Sorry, I got distracted by Channel 3. Justin Woodman's implements cash policy changes as penny supply runs dry. What?
Ah!
Wow. I know.
Also, the article is linked in the podcast description.
Awesome. Thank
I
you.
also sent it to Kurt since he asked about it. So
Amazing. Thank you very much. No, this is a great point, and I think you mentioned this in the story, Terry. Scott Madison says, I'm a bit confused. This guy basically created Veterans Day from Wisconsin, but Wisconsin still doesn't recognize it as a
30
federal
seconds.
holiday. We're the only ones.
Right.
So we'll
Isn't
mention
that weird?
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah.
All right, here we go.
Diagnosed with cancer. If it's happened to you or someone you love, the
Welcome back to the Allbaugh Show on the Civic Media Radio Network. On this Veterans Day 2025, we honor all of the service academies and the branches of the military on this Veterans Day. As ours, that was the Navy, is that correct?
yes, Anchors Away, performed by the U.S. Navy Band.
All right, very good. Thank you, Zommers. Appreciate him. On top of it, as always, we're also joined by our friend, our colleague, the multiple Emmy Award-winning journalist, Ms. Terry Barr, joins us on the stream. We're so thankful to have her as a part of this show and a part of this network. She has done extraordinary reporting, bringing us, in her terms, a slice of Wisconsin on this Veterans Day. You can, and please, go to civicmedia.us to read this story. It's called Rediscovering a Wisconsin Man's Story. He gave us Veterans Day. It's the story of Harvey Higley. And Terry, I just want to start with a point or a question from a listener. Scott in Madison on WMDX says, I'm a bit confused. So this guy basically created Veterans Day as a Wisconsinite, but Wisconsin still doesn't recognize it as a federal holiday, and we're the only ones? You point
Yes.
this out, Terry. That's correct.
Yeah. 49 states are celebrating their actual state as a Veterans Day holiday today,
It's
but
crazy.
Wisconsin, no. There is a bill in front of lawmakers right now that includes a couple of other measures that would also be for veterans care, but it's
Mhm.
sitting there, Todd. It
So, like, I mean, I'm all for the state mineral, the state microbe now, and all this.
Right.
Let's have Veterans Day be an official holiday first. That would be my take on that.
Well,
I
and
wanna
we
get-
might know more about Harvey Higley if we had Veterans Day in Wisconsin, because he's not recognized anywhere except for making it a national holiday.
That's incredible.
Yeah,
Let's
yeah.
get to this. We'll make sure we get to it. More of your interview with Todd Pritchard, the Wisconsin Alumni Association.
I have something too that's really fun that's in the story that I dug up. President Eisenhower wrote Higley a note and basically said, I want to let you know I signed the proclamation today and I'm calling upon all citizens to observe November 11th, 1954 as Veterans Day. And he said, I wholeheartedly believe in observing this. And
It's
what a great
awesome.
note to get from the president to know what you did is meaningful. But again, the question is, how have we not known about this?
Absolutely. Here's more with Todd Pritchard and Terry Barr.
That's a great question, Terry. I think that sometimes that happens with history. Sometimes there are these people, these moments that kind of fade into the background. And we at the Alumni Association, we love telling stories about our alumni, discovering what our alumni have done. And this was part of a project that we were looking at different alumni that we could highlight from around the state. And we were looking for folks out of Marinette County that had the alumni that had an impact. So when the story of Harvey came up, he left a pretty major footprint. Like I said, he was a commander for the American Legion. He was the Republican chair for Wisconsin, chair of the Republican Party here in Wisconsin for many, many years. So it wasn't like he was unknown. And of course, his work in Marinette County, in the private sector, people know about that. He was a humble man. He didn't step into the limelight very often. He didn't, these days we're in a whole different world where people are always, tooting their horn for better or worse. Harvey was, it wasn't about him. It was about the honor and the sacrifice that he wanted to remember every year. And so I just think it kind of got lost because, Harvey just didn't make a very big deal about it. But of course, it's become such an important day now. And even as time went on, it became even more important. Obviously, we went through the Korean War. We went through Vietnam. We've gone through the Gulf Wars. There are all these veterans who deserve to be honored and their sacrifice remembered, right? And so long after Harvey passed away in I believe in 1986, but long after he's gone, this day will be ingrained in our culture, a way to remember every veteran. So yeah, lost to history, refound.
That is Todd Pritchard from the Wisconsin Alumni Association in conversation with Terry Barr, who joins us right now on the story of Harvey Higley, a Wisconsinite that, Terry, in my opinion, we should be putting a statue up for this guy.
Isn't it incredible? It is. It's incredible. That's like my best word to describe this whole thing after digging into it and he deserves to be remembered because he puts so much time in to make sure that all of our military members are always remembered and honored. So I love what you're saying, Todd. Maybe we can all get together and make something happen for
Yeah, I think, well, we have our next guest, Lieutenant Governor Rodriguez. You might be able to do something about that, so we maybe ask her about that. Terry, great reporting as always. I thank you for taking the time to coming on the show on short notice. I hope everybody goes to civicmedia.us and reads Rediscovering a Wisconsin Man's Story. He gave us Veterans Day, the day of the story of Harvey Higley by our own Terry Barr. Awesome job, Terry. Thank you so very much. Really appreciate you.
And thank you and Zommers. I'm so appreciative to both of you for wanting to share this story.
Absolutely. Our pleasure. We go to break with another salute to one of our services, Air Force, the official song of the Air Force, the branch of the military on this Veterans Day. Come on back after Farm News, Wisconsin Lieutenant Governor Sarah Rodriguez right here talking about the Affordable Care Act and Veterans Day. More after this across Wisconsin on the Civic Media Radio Network. You're amazing, Terry. Thank you so very much. That was awesome.
Oh, right back at you.
Well done.
Thank you
and
so much.
Thanks.
Oh, this
Well,
was
thanks for this
awesome.
reporting. Yeah, a lot of fun. All right. Thank you. Have a great day. We'll talk to you
Oh,
soon.
thank you.
All right. Yep. Bye-bye.
Yep, I'll be listening to the rest of your show, watching, I should say.
Thanks. Thank you.
Bye-bye.
No one should have to navigate herd health alone. Luckily, you don't have to. A successful operation requires teamwork. Visit bio-vet.com and let us help identify key challenges and offer expert solutions unique to your situation. We evaluate your full herd health plan and make economical recommendations to your operation. Learn more about our team and products for herd health at bio-vet.com.
Innovation, that's BioVet.
Open enrollment is on now. To get your healthcare coverage, visit healthcare.gov. Today we're checking in with Stephanie Plaster from the Division of Extension, who says it can be difficult for rural residents to navigate the healthcare marketplace because their needs are different.
And really in rural areas, it can be a bit more complicated finding services and providers that are covered.
Testing 1, 2. And just be aware, we're off the air over the broadcast, but the stream is still going out. So as they say, as my old boss used to say, don't say anything you don't want to see in the front page of the State Journal. All right. How's the sound in your headset?
Yeah,
Test 1. All right. Very good. All right.
Then we'll just have to scoot the mic closer.
Yeah.
Probably.
Maybe you want to come this way a little bit, please. So this is actually the shot here.
Okay.
The camera that we're using is right there underneath the light. But that's what the actual shot looks like. So I don't know why that screen is so dark, but no, you actually look at this. Looks fantastic. Looks very gubernatorial. So how's it going?
It's going well. It's going well.
Awesome.
Yeah, running all over the state.
Right. Yeah.
Busy.
Doing well fundraising. That's always a plus in this business.
I know. It's one of the necessary things for running for office.
Yeah, right. Well, we're celebrating Veterans Day. We just had our own Terry Barr on. Now here, we'll ask you this on the air too. I never heard of this guy. All my years thinking I'm pretty good at Wisconsin history. Harvey Higley, little known story from Marinette, is credited a Wisconsinite with starting Veterans Day.
Is he the one that changed it from Armistice Day to Veterans Day?
See, this is why she's lieutenant governor. Yeah, I never heard of this guy until today. And I said, why don't we have a statue of this guy? And enough of the state muffin. Why isn't Veterans Day a state holiday? We're the only one.
I know. It should be a holiday.
So we may discuss that for a minute. And just your general thoughts of Veterans Day. And we're the music that we're playing, we're going through all the different service academies or branches of the military in and out. So the next up is Marines. So we'll start there, and then we'll go to, I hope this factoid is right, approximately 331,340 veterans in Wisconsin.
A little over 300,000.
And what we should be doing as Wisconsinites to support them. And then we'll get into the Affordable Care Act and talk a little bit about in terms of people, the difference between that and Badger Care and then whatever, all the goofiness in D.C., what that actually means to Wisconsinites. I know there's a lot of people interested in this.
Yeah,
so.
Good.
Tony asked if we can shift the camera so there's a little bit less space on the other side of you.
Oh, all right. That's fine. Sure. Yep. I can slide over this way a little bit more too. I mean, this is the shot here.
I think you sliding that was probably the opposite. I think he just wants it more balanced.
Oh, he wants. Oh, I see. So you want the lieutenant governor to come this way, or is that okay?
That looks like it should be good. It's at least
All right. All right. Thank you.
We have 30 seconds.
All right. Thank you. Well, thank you for doing this. Always appreciate you stopping by.
Yeah, in Madison today. I was at a veterans event this morning, and it's one of my favorite events I get to go to.
That's awesome.
It's a gentleman who does it. He's 93.
Right. Wow. Here we go. 5 minutes now past the hour of 2 o'clock. Glad to have you along on this Veterans Day 2025. Of course, the 11th of November 2025. We are honoring all the branches of our military this hour on this Veterans Day. That, of course, is the very recognizable theme of the U.S. Marine Corps. So probably my personal favorite one. And one of our favorite people to have on this show. She's been on several times before. We appreciate her making time for us in the state of Wisconsin on this Veterans Day. Wisconsin's Lieutenant Governor Sarah Rodriguez joining us here in studio. We love it when that happens. Lieutenant Governor, thanks for coming on, and happy Veterans Day to everyone.
Yeah, thank you for having me.
It's our pleasure, and we talk about that. We were talking to Terry Barr, our colleague here, just before on the story of this guy. And for those not watching on the stream, I brought up to the Lieutenant Governor, I said, have you heard of this guy, Harvey Higley? And she said, oh, that's the guy that went from Armistice to Veterans Day. This is why she's a Lieutenant Governor, you understand? So you've heard about this guy.
I did. I have heard about him. I can't remember where I learned it from. Maybe it was school. Maybe it's a good Wisconsin education.
A public education,
yeah.
Right? So the quick question is, and we talked about this with Terry, Wisconsin's the only state in the union that doesn't recognize Veterans Day as a state holiday. Can we get that changed?
Yes. Yes,
Right?
we should get it changed. Absolutely. Yes, we
I'm
should
all
get
for
it
the
changed.
state muffin and all that.
Yeah.
But shouldn't we be doing this first?
I know. There's many things that I think we can do to honor our veterans in the state of Wisconsin, and that is one of the things that we should be able to do.
You said you came from one of your favorite events earlier of the year. One of the things you get to do as Lieutenant Governor.
Yeah.
Tell us what that is.
So I went to a Veterans Day event, and the gentleman who put it on, Mr. Otto, is 93 years old, and he is a veteran, and he's been doing it at this school for over 25 years. Every year, he has been putting on this amazing Veterans Day event. So the kids sing songs, he invites veterans from the community in, and the kids make gifts for the veterans, and then they have different speakers come in, and I've been able to do it the last 3 years in a row. I would never, ever want to disappoint Mr. Otto. Absolutely not.
But isn't that one of the cool things? Because I remember being in middle school and particularly high school in Richland Center, and we would have these school assemblies.
Mm-hmm.
And you would have, at that time, back in the 80s, we still had, World War I and II veterans up there.
Mm-hmm.
And now, certainly not World War I, but even our World War II veterans are getting scarce. But for the younger generations to appreciate the sacrifices made by the men and women, I think that's so important.
I absolutely think it's still important. And it's personal for me. My dad served in the Navy during Vietnam, came home, fixed telephones for Wisconsin Bell, but his service was so important to him. He was post commander of his American Legion post. I kind of joke, I knew more about flag protocol at 8 years old than any child should possibly know. But yeah, he was also on the honor guard for military funerals. I mean, this was service and sacrifice was really, really important to him.
According to Wisconsin Department of Veterans Affairs, there are approximately 331,340 veterans in the state of Wisconsin, makes up about 7.4% of the state's adult population. That's from World War II until now. Again, there's veterans in the state dealing with homelessness or housing problems. What should the state be doing if you were governor in the future Rodriguez administration? What would be your goals to helping Wisconsin's veterans?
So right now, even the budget we have right now, there were about $500 million in investments into veterans, whether that's housing, healthcare, some of the veterans' homes that we were able to keep funded. But we need to do more. We also need to make sure that we have mental health funding for veterans. We know that when they come back into coming back into civilian life, it can be a really difficult transition for them. So trying to make sure they have the resources that they need to get jobs, that we are able to have programs that acknowledge the skills that they've been able to get within the military, and how does that transfer into civilian life. We've been working with a couple of different philanthropies who are trying to make sure that we can have military veterans become nurses. We know that there's a huge need for nurses in the state of Wisconsin, and you've got individuals who have a skill set from the military. Why can't they apply some of that into a bachelor's degree in nursing?
100%. As my aunt was a longtime OBGYN nurse here at St. Mary's of Madison, so I have a special place for registered nurses, of which you are one. Maybe to me today, no offense, but the most important title you bring to the show today is not lieutenant governor, but that of registered nurse.
Yeah.
And I know that I've had texts from people already today saying, I want to listen into this because of the goofiness, my words, happening in Washington, D.C. with the government shutdown, largely the Republicans not wanting to find a solution forward. But now Democrats were holding out to try to get an extension of tax credits for the Affordable Care Act, better known as Obamacare. Now it seems like there was 8 Democrats that said we're moving forward without that. U.S. Senator Tammy Baldwin of Wisconsin put a bill or a motion on the floor yesterday to extend it for 1 year. That got shot down. And there's as you well know, Lieutenant Governor Rodriguez, there's a lot of apprehension. I heard from one person today who I know who is on the Affordable Care Act. He said, Todd, I know it's sitting in my inbox. I'm scared to look at what it's going to go up to.
Yeah.
What would you say to people across the state? What should they do at this point?
It was so disappointing and frustrating for me. I did put a statement out about it that I really think that they should have held the Republicans' feet to the fire to make sure that these subsidies were going to continue, because you're looking at 100% increase. They're doubling their premiums on the marketplace. And these are small business owners. These are independent contractors. These are folks who aren't getting their insurance through their employer, and they're going to have to pay so much more money that many of them are going to choose to go without health insurance. And if you think that does not affect you and me, who may be on a commercial plan through our employer, it absolutely does. Because when we have less people insured, they're going to go to the emergency department when they're way sicker than they need to be. And those costs are going to be borne by everybody across the state. So it is going to be increasing healthcare costs for every single person in Wisconsin if they do not make sure that those subsidies continue to exist.
And you and I would probably see mostly eye to eye on the politics of this. But I think for most Wisconsinites, from what I'm hearing, as you travel around the state, now you've been traveling around the state running for governor next year, I think the average gal and guy would be like, I don't care. This is why I'm sick of politics. Nothing gets done, but I got to figure out my health care for this year. As a registered nurse who works with this every day, what's your, I know you're not giving people legal advice, but what's your best advice as a nurse, as lieutenant governor of the state? The reality is, it is what it is. These premiums probably aren't going to change now. What can people do to afford health care in this state?
It's going to be a huge problem for folks. And I do think that they need to call their federal representatives to let them know how much this is going to hurt their families. I would caution people not to go without health insurance, because you never know if you're going to have that accident. You never know what's going to be happening in the future. And you want to make sure that you are being taken care of for your chronic conditions so they don't become more serious later and cost a whole lot more. There are clinics out there that will work with you on a sliding scale fee. There's federally qualified health centers within most parts of the states of Wisconsin. So if people are struggling to be able to afford what they need, working with those health centers is something that they can do as well. But the reality is that this is a failure of the Republican leadership in the federal government to not extend these subsidies. It is an absolute failure. And it not only is going to affect people's health care, but it's going to affect the economy in the state of Wisconsin. So if you think about it, if you're not taking care of your diabetes, if you're not taking care of your high blood pressure, are you going to be able to work 40 hours a week? Are you going to be able to do what you need to do to support your family? So these are going to be all, I know it feels like it's just about healthcare, but these are pillars that are holding up our community, and we knock one of those over, the other pillars are going to fall.
We're talking to Wisconsin's Lieutenant Governor Sarah Rodriguez. She also happens to be running for governor next year. We're going to get to the campaign here in a bit, but I want to talk a little bit more about this Affordable Care Act, or Obamacare, in the state of Wisconsin. Last time I checked, and Bob Lang is the head of the Fiscal Bureau of the state of Wisconsin, nonpartisan fiscal. I haven't talked to Bob lately. Last I knew, the state still had around a $4 billion-ish surplus. I think some Wisconsinites are saying, okay, why doesn't Governor Evers do something? I know this is a feeling out here because they see Trump do this all the time, or do things they signed. Why doesn't the governor sign an executive order to take part of that $4 billion and make up the difference for Obamacare in Wisconsin?
So unfortunately, he doesn't have that ability to be able to do that. So we have a Republican-led Senate, a Republican-led Assembly, and they were even unwilling to go into that surplus when we were looking at people not having their food share benefits, where we were taking literal food out of children's mouths this last month, and they didn't even want to use the dollars for that. So that's upsetting to me that they wouldn't want to support their own constituents who may need SNAP benefits. It's called food share here in Wisconsin. It's a huge challenge for the governor, and to have a hostile legislature that's uninterested in helping everyday people afford the things they need to be able to thrive or even just survive.
I appreciate it because thanks for explaining that. I knew it, but I wanted to have people hear it from you because of all the misinformation out there. I think there are people in the state who really believe, because they see Trump do it on the news, that Governor Evers can do this. He doesn't have the legal power to do these executive orders here in the state of Wisconsin.
He does not. He does not have the power to pull from that surplus without the legislation from the legislature.
A couple of minutes left here before we step away, but I know you're with us to the top of the hour. Explain to people, because this gets so confusing to Wisconsinites, Badger Care versus Obamacare, or Badger Care versus Affordable Care Act.
So Badger Care is Medicaid in the state of Wisconsin, and the people who are on Medicaid have to meet some income limits to be able to qualify for it. Vast majority of people on Medicaid are kids and older adults who perhaps are in a nursing home. My father, I talked to you about him, Vietnam veteran, worked every day of his life, worked the Friday before he got diagnosed with Alzheimer's on a Monday. He was on Medicaid at the end of his life. And it was such a blessing for our family not to have to worry about those costs. So when you're talking about people who are on Badger Care or Medicaid, these are folks who really need it. They need to be able to access this health care. Again, vast majority are kids and older adults. So that's Medicaid or Badger Care. And then you've got the Affordable Care Act, where we have insurance that you can get on the exchange. And so you're able to get on the exchange and get your insurance yourself if you're not getting it through your employer or you don't qualify for Medicaid. But they will push you towards Badger Care or Medicaid if you do qualify for it. So you're talking about independent booksellers, you're talking about restaurant owners, you're talking about, people who have small businesses and need to cover themselves. I mean, those are the folks who are using the Affordable Care Act and getting subsidies to be able to afford their premiums. The one thing we have not done in the state of Wisconsin is expanded Medicaid. And that's about 90,000 people, about 60,000 who are probably 30,000 who are uninsured today.
Which most of the other states in this country have done.
All of them except 10.
All right. We're going to talk more about the Lieutenant Governor saw my ratty wallet.
Yeah.
I have a forward health card not too many years ago. I used this. Otherwise, I would not have health care in the state of Wisconsin. Come back and talk about that. And also the Lieutenant Governor's bid to become the governor of the state of Wisconsin. We'll be back after this. But first, the theme from the United States Coast Guard on this Veterans Day 2025. You're listening to the Todd Allbaugh Show on the Civic Media Radio Network. I keep this with me just as a reminder that, look, everybody is, we're all, this is when I had my own coffee shop, didn't have insurance. I had run for state assembly twice. I made a bad decision to literally bet my farm on the deal. I didn't have any material possessions. Essentially living whatever the shop was making, which wasn't much. And if not for this, I would have had no health care.
Right. I mean, it's absolutely, it's so frustrating. And the reality also is that about 40% of babies are born on Medicaid. So we want to make sure that those kids get a good start off in life, and that their moms do too. We are also, and we can talk about this later, but we're only one of 2 states that has not expanded Medicaid for 12 months postpartum.
Wow.
Us and Arkansas.
Wow.
And I think Arkansas is working on it. So we could be the last one.
Think about that, folks. Worse than Sarah Huckabee Sanders. Think about that for a second.
And if you want to know why leadership matters in the Senate and the Assembly, there was legislation to expand it for 12 months postpartum. It passed in the Senate with 1 no vote. That was it. And the number of people who signed on to the legislation, Democrat and Republican, if they would have brought it to a vote on the assembly floor, it would have passed. Robin Voss refused to bring it to the floor for a vote. 12 months postpartum.
Yeah, and I even heard, there were Republicans who were like, what is this guy doing?
The Senate was upset because they passed it.
Yeah.
They passed it with just one no vote. And one person decided that women did not need to have 12 months of coverage after they had a baby.
There's lots of things I could say, but I probably shouldn't even say it on the stream. All right, so let's get right into that. We'll have about 6.5 minutes, Aaron, ish.
Yeah.
All right. So I want to make sure we get in whenever you want to on the race for governor. Give you time for that. But let's what you just said just now. I think that's really important to get out there on the air as well.
Yeah.
So, and we'll maybe just quickly. I just thought the governor's response on this SNAP stuff. No, I thought that was brilliant. So maybe just touch on that briefly as well.
Patriotic Millionaires. When I was CEO of CareCentrix, I doubled entry-level wages. The impact, productivity went up, turnover went down, and the company was successful.
Where are you off to next?
I am in Madison for a little bit for some meetings, and then I am going to the executive residence because they are honoring veterans there.
That's fantastic. That's great.
30 seconds.
All right, thank you. Welcome back to the Todd Allbaugh Show on the Civic Media Radio Network on this Veterans Day, November 11th, 2025. Now 7 minutes before the hour of 3 o'clock. If you're saying, what's that song? Don't worry, it's a newer one. That is the song for the United States Space Force, our newest branch of military. It's ours. I can't remember the guy. We had a guy. We were on one of the university campuses in Wisconsin. He was going into the Space Force here in Wisconsin. So
yeah, I believe so. I don't remember the name either.
Yeah, newer. We honor our veterans, all of our veterans, men and women who have worn and continue to wear the uniform. And we are delighted and honored to be joined by Wisconsin's Lieutenant Governor Sarah Rodriguez here in the studio on this Veterans Day. As of course she's running for Wisconsin governor in the 2026 Democratic primary. Lieutenant Governor, I want to just finish up on this Affordable Care Act. We are talking about Affordable Care Act, or Obamacare as it's known, and Badger Care. And I still keep this forward health card. When not very many years ago, when I had a small business, I would have been without health care if not for this safety net. So I keep it as a reminder, there by the grace of God go I.
Exactly.
And we are all going to go through times when we need assistance. Talk to us from a woman's perspective on postpartum in this state.
Yeah, so we are one of 10 states that has an overall to single adults who have low income, but we are one of only 2 states that has not expanded Medicaid for 12 months postpartum, us and Arkansas. And Arkansas I think they're working on it, so we could be the last one. And I said this earlier, but if you want to know why leadership matters in the Assembly and the Senate passed legislation to expand 12 months postpartum with only one no vote. In the bill for the Assembly, the number of Democrats and Republicans who signed on to that bill, if it would have been brought to the floor, it would have passed. Robin Voss refused to bring the bill to the floor. Very frustrating. And this is why we just need different leadership.
I mean, even the Republicans in the Senate, the majority of them were on board with this.
They were.
And so
All but
for one person to hold this entire thing up, and there are women across the state who are suffering because of one person in Robin Voss. I don't get it, but
Yeah.
I'm not going to solve that
To be
today.
clear, nationally 40% of babies are born on Medicaid. So we want to make sure that those babies, those moms, have a good start in life. And that's what that 12 months postpartum can do.
I mean, Republicans are very concerned about life until it's here, until they're born. It seems like, and then it's kind of like you're on your own. But that's a. Okay. Talk to us very quickly about SNAP benefits. All the back and forth. I thought the Governor Evers had a brilliant move when there was that small window, legal window, when the court said yes, the Trump administration had to release federal dollars for SNAP or food shares, it's called here in Wisconsin. The governor did it. Hours later, they said no. Now the president wants that back. Governor Evers had a one-word response: no.
Yeah. Yeah. Great response. No, absolutely. I mean, they have money to give billionaires and trillionaires tax breaks to buy their fourth yacht, but they don't have enough money to be able to fund food for children. I don't understand the logic in that. I mean, these are hungry people. These are people who need these dollars to put food on the table. We have seen our food pantries across the state seeing exponential rise in people coming, being very, very nervous about being able to afford something to eat. And that's what they're trying to do. They actually went to the court system to say, no, I don't want to fund SNAP benefits. I don't want to fund food share. I don't want to have kids have food on the table. I mean, that is just cruel.
100% agree. A shout out, though, to all of our Wisconsinites who are stepping up to help support those food pantries across the state of Wisconsin. You're running for Wisconsin governor. You are lieutenant governor. You're running for Wisconsin governor. Marquette Law School poll. It's too early. Nobody cares about numbers, I don't think. What people do care about is the money. You're leading the Democrats on fundraising. How is it going on the campaign trail? We've got a minute and a half left.
Yeah, it's been going really well. I'm getting a lot of positive responses. I've had endorsements in all 72 counties because I want to be a governor for the entire state. And I'm doing a listening tour in every single county in the state of Wisconsin during this primary because I do think it's important that you can't lead unless you listen. I do think I'm the best person to try to get across the finish line this August because I'm the best person to be able to beat Tom Tiffany in November. You know, I'm a nurse by background, but I've also been an executive within a large healthcare system and a Fortune 100 company. I do have that executive experience as well as lieutenant governor. But I also live in ruby red Waukesha and was able to flip an assembly district from red to blue. I'm the only one in the field who's been able to do that. And those are the kind of things that I want to bring to the table. And I'm going to be focusing on the economy, whether it's accessible, affordable health care. Goodness, cost of housing is out of control, particularly in Madison. It's really, really rough.
Tell me about it.
Cost of childcare, if you can even find it, if you can get it yourself off the wait list, it's like the average amount is $13,000 per year for one child. We need to fully fund our public schools so we can reduce property taxes for people, and we need to restore union bargaining rights because that will lift wages all across Wisconsin.
And she has ties to Richland County, as I've pointed out before, which I love that about you and your candidacy as well. Very, very quickly, number one issue you're hearing from real people across Wisconsin right now?
Really, honestly, in terms of right now, I don't care where I am in all 72 counties. I hear about housing and childcare. I don't care if it's urban. I don't care if it's rural. I don't care if it's tribal land, suburban. Housing and childcare are just critical needs for Wisconsinites right now. And they want the government to be able to put solutions for us to solve it. And so that's the kind of thing that I'm looking to do is to make real demonstrable change in Wisconsin and actually help everyday Wisconsinites be able not just to survive day to day, but to thrive, to make sure they have food on the table, a roof over their heads. And yes, they can take their kids on vacation once a year.
That was the most interesting part about the Marquette Law School poll to me, not the head-to-heads or whatever of the candidates, all due respect. The issues, what you just said, housing, childcare, the affordability issues. And I would think that would bode well for a Democratic candidate for governor. All right, Lieutenant Governor Sarah Rodriguez, thanks for making time for us today, and safe travels. As you travel around Wisconsin, you're always welcome back on the show.
Thank you, Todd.
Appreciate you. Bada bing, bada boom.
2.7 WMDX Columbus, Madison's home for real news and great nation. A civic media station.
ABC News, I'm Michelle Franzen. The government shutdown will last at least a few more days. The House returns for a vote tomorrow on the Senate-passed stopgap measure. Air traffic controllers, meantime, are strained while on the job without pay, and it's leading to more FAA flight cuts to ensure safety.
Today, with the FAA ramping up flight cancellations from where they've been at 4% to now 6%, on their way to 10% of flights, almost 1,600 flights have been canceled in the U.S. today. Regional carriers SkyWest and Republic Airways are the most heavily impacted, followed by Southwest, Endeavor Air, Delta, and United Airlines.
ABC's Alex Stone. The Supreme Court could issue a decision today on whether the Trump administration must abide by lower court orders to fully fund SNAP benefits for the month of November. On this Veterans Day, ceremonies taking place honoring all who served and sacrificed in the armed forces. At Arlington National Cemetery, President Trump thanked military members for their strength and courage. This is ABC News.
Local news, real voices, and conversations that count. That's Madison. And that's 92.7 WMDX.
For 92.7 WMDX News, I'm Savannah Tomei Olson. Today is Veterans Day. About 300,000 veterans call Wisconsin home. Now, the state legislature is currently considering a handful of bills that would impact veterans. One would reopen 2 locations of a program that housed homeless veterans. 2 of the 3 homes in this program shut down in September after Republicans chose not to fund the program in the state budget. One of the other bills would fund mental health programs specifically for vets. Another bill would make Veterans Day a state holiday. It's a federal holiday, and 49 other states have designated it a holiday too. Wisconsin is the only holdout. Although we're the only state that does not recognize it as a state holiday, Veterans Day has Wisconsin roots. Terry Barr reports.
His name is Harvey Higley. And if you haven't heard of him, there's a good reason. The Marinette County man's story had been lost until recently.
This is such a great
story.
story.
An amazing guy.
It really is.
And has an impact on us every year, and nobody knows about it. Harvey graduated from the University of Wisconsin in 1915, and just 2 years later, he found himself in the battlefields of France. He went over for World War I.
We should see if we can promote across all the network a campaign to get people to contact your legislators. Be like, we should celebrate Veterans Day and also this guy.
He found some amazing history. He led the State American Legion, and later Higley served as head of Veterans Affairs under President Dwight Eisenhower.
He thought, how can we really dedicate a day to veterans? Created a bill to change Armistice Day to Veterans Day, and that's what we celebrate now every year.
Harvey Higley is worth remembering. It's the Wisconsin man's work ensuring our nation never forgets to honor our veterans.
That's Terry Barr reporting, and I'm Savannah Tomei Olson. This is 92.7 WMDX News.
The Packers lose to the Eagles. Hi, I'm Mike Clemens with sports from Lambeau Field, where the Packers folded 10-7 to the Philadelphia Eagles. For a second week in a row, Green Bay's offense failed to generate enough points. Quarterback Jordan Love.
Got to get back to the drawing board. Same thing as last week, get back to the film session, trying to find ways to figure out what we're not doing as well right now. What's kind of keeping us in a funk and not letting us kind of get into a rhythm.
Packers head coach Matt LaFleur asked if he's concerned about his future.
You don't have a long-term extension. With the way things have gone this season, I'd be concerned. For your job there.
I'm not. I'll leave that for everybody else to decide. I'll just focus on the day-to-day, and I feel like you're always coaching for everything.
Terry says she's on board
Packers
with
center
trying to
Elton
make it a
Jenkins
campaign.
Left the game in the second quarter after fracturing a bone in his lower leg. NBA, the
We'll
Bucks
start
beat
it,
the
Terry. You and me and
Mavericks,
Zobbers.
116-114
We're gonna
in
take
Dallas.
this to
They play the
Capitol Hill.
Hornets in Charlotte
It's only a
tomorrow
block
night.
away, so it won't
I'm
be
Mike
too
Clemens.
far of a journey.
Very true.
Over the air and on the web, WMDX is your home for real news and great conversation for Madison. Learn more at WMDXradio.com.
I'm meteorologist Rodney Price. A mix of clouds and sunshine for the afternoon and a breezy Veterans Day with highs in the lower 40s. Southwest winds up to 25. Skies turning partly cloudy tonight. It stays breezy with mid-30s. Sunshine Wednesday near 50.
Terry says, let's
Right
do
now,
it
it's
in all
40.
caps.
All right, very good.
Join me.
I should probably stop muting it whenever a Tom Hartman promo comes on, because one day that's probably going to become like an instinct that'll bite me in the butt.
Tune in middays right here on your local Civic Media station from 11 a.m. to 2 p.m.
It was
for
a
the
bit,
Tom
but
Hartman
I
program.
feel like someday
Tag
it'll
your
cause a real problem.
Not completing high school is more of a social thing than it was an academic thing. Even though all these years have passed, I still had that longing to have my diploma.
At age 30, Carissa finished her high school diploma.
If you're even considering getting your high school diploma, you can do it.
No one gets a diploma alone. If you're thinking of finishing your
30
high school
seconds.
diploma, you have help.
Gracias.
Find free adult
From the Civic Media World Headquarters in Madison, Wisconsin, it's the Todd Allbaugh Show. And now, pursuing truth wherever it may lead, here's your host, Todd Allbaugh.
Wisconsin on the Civic Media Radio Network and streaming worldwide on the Civic Media app. Good afternoon, everybody. Todd Allbaugh along with Mr. Aaron Zommers on the board. It is 6 minutes past the hour of 3 o'clock. Welcome into hour number 2 of the big program on Tuesday, November 11th, 2025. It is a great day to be a Wisconsinite, and it is Veterans Day. Thank you to all who have served, the men and women who have worn the uniform, who continue to do so. We honor all of our veterans here on this Veterans Day 2025 from the old world headquarters in downtown Madison of Civic Media at the intersection of State and Fairchild Zommers. How about that for hour number 1? You had Terry Barr with a great, fascinating, insightful story on somebody who helped craft Veterans Day for the United States of America, a Wisconsinite named Harvey Higley. And by the way, you can find that entire 10-minute interview with Todd Pritchard of the Wisconsin Alumni Association and Terry's great reporting at civicmedia.us. Civicmedia.us. I'd encourage everybody to take a look at that.
Definitely. The link to that article is also in our show notes for the first hour, so the podcast description.
Thank you so very much. And then you had that, and then you followed up with Wisconsin Lieutenant Governor Sarah Rodriguez. Now, there's somebody that has their stuff together and is passionate about the state, and I appreciate her taking time and explaining what, to me, can be a very complex issue, the Affordable Care Act, and explaining why it is facing these very large increases, largely due, if not fully due, to Republicans and President Trump refusing to extend the tax credit. And I appreciate U.S. Senator Tammy Baldwin of Wisconsin offering an opportunity yesterday to her colleagues in the Senate saying, okay, my 8 Democratic colleagues voted to end this shutdown on the Senate side to a compromise bill, which does not include ACA. But here I am, Senator Baldwin, with a solution. Let's do this for a year. Let's extend these tax credits for a year, so not just Wisconsinites, but Americans that use the Affordable Care Act, which we know from our conversations with guys like Dean Umbehan, a cattle farmer in Richland County. These are farm folks that are using the Affordable Care Act. These are small business people across the state of Wisconsin. There are single parents. There's all kinds of folks from all parts of the state that are relying on the Affordable Care Act, and not just the Affordable Care Act, but the first word in that, affordable, right? I mean, you can have access to it, but if you're like, hey, my premium's going from $150 a month to close to $1,000, well, what good? I mean, people, as the Lieutenant Governor said, people are going to have to make a choice going without food or maybe having to move in with a relative and giving up their apartment or having health insurance. So that's not really affordable.
Right, definitely not. And, we have the information, we have statistics of who is all using the ACA. Mm-hmm. And yes, these subsidies were initially temporary for COVID, but then we found that there are far better health outcomes for people across the country And so it kind of seems like something that we should continue.
And as the Lieutenant Governor pointed out, Governor Tony Evers does not have the legal power to use the surplus in state funds to make up for this in Wisconsin. It has to come from the federal level. And if we would just tax, and we're not talking about successful farmers or small business people in this state, not talking about that. We're talking about, as Chuck Collins from Patriotic Millionaires was on this program and pointed out, we're talking about people making $40, $50 million a year and higher. So your 50 millionaire bracket up through your billionaires. Those are the folks we're talking about. If those individuals and couples, whatnot, would be paying their fair share of taxes, because there's no reason that a guy like Jeff Bezos, who creates spaceships that look like a flaccid symbol or whatever, and a phallic symbol, and is running Amazon. And look, we all enjoy Amazon, or a lot of us do. But there's no reason a guy like that should be essentially paying no taxes when he's worth billions of dollars. And you've got hardworking farmers in this state and small business people and individuals trying to provide daycare, and they're being taxed to the nose.
Right. And another thing that the Patriotic Millionaires propose is not taxing the first $45,000 of income.
Right.
So then you don't hit the people who are just scraping by, and you do hit all the people who have enough money to swim in.
Right. Well, that would be nice if that would happen.
Yeah, that would be nice.
Well, it's good to keep talking about it, and I appreciate a thoughtful conversation with Lieutenant Governor Rodriguez on this subject. Summers, it is 11 minutes coming up on 12 past the hour of 3 o'clock. Did you watch the Packers last night?
I didn't watch the whole game. I went to bed around halftime. I was just really tired.
I know. I was too. I forced myself to stay awake because I thought, no, they're going to come back, and I got to be able to see this to talk about it.
Well, that didn't really happen.
That did not happen. No.
I was honestly, I didn't really want this to happen, but there's a part of you that does. Mm-hmm. I wanted it to be, after overtime, a 0-0 tie, because then we'd have a 40-40 tie and a 0-0 tie in the same season. I just want to see what the commissioner would do about that.
That'd be crazy. And I think, don't quote me on this, but I think the folks at Monday Night Football said the 0-0 tie was the first 0-0 tie in Monday Night Football since 2009.
Yeah.
So it's been a long time. Packers lost last night 10-7. I get it. Conditions were bad, but the Packers had a chance to tie it as time expired, and they ran out their lame kicker, and I mean physically lame, and it wasn't even close. I'm telling you, bring back Haversick. Bring back the substitute teacher. The defense for the Packers looked great by and large, holding the Eagles to only 10, but I get it. You got Matthew Golden out, our great sports reporter. Mike Clemens was telling us yesterday. Golden was out. You had Tucker Kraft, great tight end, out. But boy, howdy, this is professional football, professional sports. You got to be more than one deep. And the offense for the Packers, not good at all. Not good at all. So we'll see if the Pack can get back on track. But teams that are on track so far, the Wisconsin Badger men's basketball team, number 24 Wisconsin, hosts the alma mater of David Letterman. Do you know what that is, Summers?
No, I do not.
Ball State University. Ball State University in Indiana. Ball State here in Madison against number 24 Wisconsin. You can hear the broadcast tonight with the pregame show starting at 7 o'clock. You can hear it on WFHR in Wisconsin Rapids, WLAK in Amory, WRCE in Richland Center, and WJSM in beautiful Ironwood, Michigan. I love the fact that we're penetrating the UP with Wisconsin sports now.
We are, although I may have used a different word.
Very good. Appreciate all of you listening. By the way, it's coming up on 15 past the hour of 3 o'clock. Time once again for a Wisconsin fun fact. Here we go.
Oh, Wisconsin, land of beauty, with your hillsides and your
That's right. Time once again as the official. Speaking of, maybe we should get rid of the official state ballot and we'll exchange it. We'll say we'll get rid of the Wisconsin state ballot in exchange for making Veterans Day an official state holiday.
I mean, we could do both.
All right, very good. All right, here we go. On November 11th, 1964, the Rolling Stones first performed in Wisconsin to a crowd of 1,274 fans at Milwaukee Auditorium. It's hard to believe a young Keith Richards was only 74 years old in 1964. Wisconsin fun fact. By the way, Keith Richards could do more today than I can. And he's like 20 years older than me or something like that.
It's crazy.
He's timeless.
Some people just are so active and able to do anything up until the day they die, no matter how many drugs they take. Allegedly.
What's that line from Love Actually where the rock singer, he's on that television show and he looks at the camera and he says, kids, don't waste your money on drugs. And then he has a beat and he says, become a pop star and they'll give them to you for free.
Yes, exactly. That's what he says. Yeah, it's don't buy drugs, become a pop star and they give them to you for free.
That's a great line from Love Actually. Yes, by the way, if you're wondering, it is a Christmas movie. Coming up on 17 past the hour of 3. Time once again for What's Worse. Let's go.
This or that. And of course, the choice is yours. You can get with this or you can get with that.
Time once again for What's Worse. Nothing to give away, no prize money involved, but it is your chance to have your voice heard across all 10 news, talk, sports channels, stations in the Civic Media News Talk Network. All right. That's pretty good. I guess timely, but maybe not super. But the weather's getting cold. Here's the connection. The weather's getting cold. And for those, although a lot of people can't afford to go much of anywhere right now, maybe to an indoor water park at Wisconsin Dells, all right? And also with the flights the way they are, who wants to get on an airplane these days and be stranded at an airport overnight? But today's category, what's worse, beach or pool? Beach or pool? And we're not talking about billiards. We're talking about like swimming pool, like swimming in a pool. What's worse, beach or pool? 855-752-4842. 855-752-4842. What is worse, beach or pool? You can also, JR Lacrosse, listening to us up there on WLCX. He's a JR Lacrosse, thank you, new listener, new texter. He agrees with me. Yes, bring back the substitute teacher kicker. Absolutely. Haversick. Longest field goal in Packer history, by the way. That's what I do. But, that's why I'm sitting here just bellowing on a radio and not on the sideline of a professional sports team. You can text us what's worse, beach or pool. You can text us on the old Civic Media app. If you don't have it, download it today. Here's why. Not just so you can participate in our little dog and pony show, but help yourself. Because coming up, and I've been told I'm not really supposed to talk about it, so just take that to. But here's the deal. Come close to the speaker of your radio. There's a contest coming. A text to win holiday contest. Yes, there's a contest coming. Another text to win contest.
Details. Didn't hear it from us.
Didn't hear it from us. But do yourself a favor, because the only way you can participate in the old text to win contest is download the Civic Media app. Do it on your Apple or Android device. Simply go to your app store, type in Civic, CIVIC, Media. It'll pop up a cute little CM logo. Click on that. Takes less than a minute. It is free, the Civic Media app. Also, more text to win listeners win by listening to the Todd Allbaugh Show than any other news program.
Many people are saying.
Many people are saying. What's worse, beach or pool? Beach or pool? We'll get this. We have some answers coming in here on the stream. We'll get to those after that. Take your phone calls as well. What's worse, beach or pool? 855-752-4842. 855-752-4842. We will answer those questions. Have farm news the way from Pam Yonke, and ice will never bother me, right? Right? We'll explain later on. It's the Allbaugh Show across Wisconsin on the Civic Media Radio Network.
WMDX Madison, where democracy meets dairy.
Looking to grow a career? David J. Frank Landscaping is hiring. Enjoy competitive
By the way,
wages,
I didn't even mean
opportunities
that
for
with the way
professional
Zomers
growth,
took
and a
it.
supportive team
I
environment.
don't know.
No
It's just like,
experience
No, it's-
we're
necessary.
penetrating
That's
into
David J.
their...
Frank
It is an
provides
accurate
paid
way to
training.
describe
Enjoy the
what's
benefits of
happening.
working at one of the top
It's
three
just
real
also,
estate companies in the country. If you're just looking
you know,
to make some money on the side,
I don't
David
know.
J.
The name of
Frank
Jeff
is
Perry's
also
autobiography.
for snow removal.
Penetrating
Call
the UP was the title of my autobiography.
608-283-9276
I
or
did
visit
not know that, Jeffrey Perry.
davidjfrank.com/jobs and see if this is the team for you.
Buying a home is kind
It's
of
their
like eating
aerospace,
pistachios.
you understand?
Some are easy to open, some take a little work.
Can't
and
win
every
for
once
losing,
in a
as they
while,
say.
you get a tough one that makes you question your life choices.
Alrighty,
Aaron
Aphrodite.
Weber Group, we crack open the market and find you the perfect home. Whether you're looking for a cozy starter home or a mansion with a snack pantry big enough for a lifetime supply of pistachios, we've got you covered. Call Aaron Weber Group at Powered by Compass today. We'll help you find a home that's nothing but perfect.
Streaming TV is where it's at. It's not about cutting the cord anymore. It's all about your customized TV options. With the best and cheapest high-speed internet and your own TV subscriptions, we've got your dream TV lineup. Between wired and satellite internet and TV, save money and get more internet speed and better TV today by calling the Whole Home Connect.
800-217-9129. 800-217-9129. 800-217-9129.
Looking to strengthen the bonds with your pup? Greene County Humane Society offers a variety of dog training classes.
Are you saying
led by
jellyfish
certified
versus
trainers.
used
Classes are designed
Band-Aids?
to help you
That's
and
really
your
good,
furry
Terry.
friend learn
That's
new
very good
skills,
indeed.
improve behavior, and deepen your connection. Whether your dog is a curious puppy, an independent teenager, or a lifelong learner, DCHS has the tools and expertise to help you set the stage for a successful year ahead. Visit giveshelter.org/dog training to register today.
Veterans
About 20
are
seconds.
our friends.
Gracias.
No shoes, no shirt, and no problem. Blues, what blues? Hey, I forgot 'em. The sun and the sand and a drink in my hand with no bottom. And no shoes, no shirt, and no problems.
Little Kenny Chesney,
No
a Corona,
problem.
and the Pacific Ocean. What more do you want?
Wanna tell on a chair.
Welcome back to the Todd Allbaugh Show, the Civic Media Radio Network. 23 now past the hour of 3 o'clock, right smack dab in the middle of today's edition of What's Worse? Question, the category, beach or pool? What's worse, beach or pool? 855-752-4842, 855-752-4842, off the text line via the aforementioned Civic Media app. Steve in Lodi, who's listening on WMDX, simply says the pool is worse. All right, we'll take that for what it is. Our own Casper, working hard in engineering, listening on WMDX in Madison, says pools are worse. Nothing beats sitting on the beach. Now, here, Casper is exactly right about this. I'm kind of giving my answer away. But it's not just the water, you understand. It's sitting on the, soaking up the saltwater air. Or I guess you have a freshwater beach too, but I tend to think more saltwater. It's not just the water. Casper's right. It's sitting on the beach. All right. Now here, so far, this might be the text of the day so far. Terry, listening on WAUK Milwaukee Waukesha, says, are you asking jellyfish versus used Band-Aids?
Well, kind of, yeah.
That's hilarious. Because I've spent a lot of time in the ocean, the Pacific Ocean in particular. I've seen, but thank God I've never stepped on or been stung by a jellyfish. Have you, Zommers?
I've never been to an ocean.
All right, well that takes care of that. Because if you got a jellyfish in the pool, you got a problem. But yeah, it could be painful. Never had it happen. So you got jellyfish in the ocean, but yes, to was it Ryan's point? Go to some of these big wave pools, and I mean, I'm not trying to hate on anybody, but some of these places, you have a Band-Aid floating by, and you're like, Judas Priest. You know, I mean, hopefully there's a lot of chlorine. What's worse, beach or pool? 855-752-4842, 855-752-4842. Let's go to the North Woods. And Ollie in the North Woods. Ollie, beach or pool, what's worse?
Well, they equally have their drawbacks. For me, the beach is harder because it has so much sand, and I have to use either canes or walker.
All right.
So that's a drawback. But you don't get a beautiful sunset over a swimming pool.
Yeah, very rarely, right? Unless it's situated right. But yeah, you're absolutely right. It's an indoor swimming pool, you're not going to get that sunset. Agree, Ollie. Right. Appreciate you, Ollie. Thank you. By the way, now I think we've got more snow here in the south. Is it very snowy up there in the North Woods?
Oh, I haven't seen any snow.
Yeah,
here.
see, we've got more in the south.
A few flakes here or there, but I would like to do a shout out to all the vets and all those who are currently serving our country, including the wonderful National Guard who are protecting some of our cities when they really would rather be home with their family.
Yeah, well said, Ollie, that a lot of these folks are just following orders. They don't want to be there any more than we do.
Everyone should shake their hand,
right?
Regardless. They're just doing what they gave an oath to do.
Right. Appreciate you, Ollie. Thank you very much indeed. Happy Veterans Day to all of our men and women in uniform and those who have served. What's worse, beach or pool? John up in Oshkosh, listening to WISS, says a pool is 100% worse. I try to blank out the cesspool of human biohazard we are all swimming in. Give me a freshwater beach any day. Len in Madison on WMDX says, my concrete answer is the pool is worse. Speaking of concrete, right? Joel, listening in beautiful Rothschild, Wisconsin, up there on WXCO out of Wausau, Bull Falls Radio, says, according to my wife, beaches are worse because you swim in a fish toilet. All right, I mean, I get that. But I mean, a big ocean or whatever, I mean, yeah, all that stuff is at the bottom of the ocean, right?
I prefer to swim right next to a paper mill or wherever the heck RFK Jr. went swimming.
All right. What's worse, 855-752-4842, beach or pool, Zombers?
I don't like sand. It's coarse and rough and irritating, and it gets everywhere.
You're an anti-sand guy.
I just wanted to play that because,
okay.
But no, I think with the caveat, as I said before, I've never been to an ocean, so I haven't been to a good beach,
You've been to like a freshwater beach?
Yeah, like Michigan or stuff, which, not that there aren't any good beaches on Lake Michigan, but I haven't been to a proper capital B beach.
Right.
I am going to say that beach is worse, at least the ones that I've been to.
All right.
Mostly because I have to wear compression socks every day, and they don't interact well with sand.
So you can't even take them off when you're like walking in the water?
Oh, well, the water's good because it compresses also, but I have to have them off to walk down the beach, and I'm not going to put them back on until I get back and get all the sand off.
Could you get like rubber ones or like waterproof?
I don't know.
I don't know either. That's what I'm asking.
I'll have to look into that, I guess.
Rubber socks,
That seems bad.
Well, I mean, but then you can enjoy the beach and not faint.
That's true. And if I'm not going in the water, I can just keep the socks on anyway.
That's exactly right. Not even close for me. The pool is worse because it's easier to spread out, find your own space on a beach. And I agree with Casper. It's the ambiance of the beach. And Ollie, the sunset. And it's Kenny Chesney. And it's having a beer on the beach and watching the people go by. And give me a palm tree. Give me a Calgon. Take me away. Come on back after the farm news. We'll talk about ice and also news you can use from Woodman's. It's employee owned.
WMDX, keeping the capital caffeinated.
News, weather, and sports for Madison right here on WMDX. Streaming
It's a
24/7
play.
online at WMDX
Hey, folks, Phil Woodman here.
We got to get that video and just play it of you with like the toilet paper.
The markets have seen a
I just
lot
look
of
out on my
volatility
phone
this
somewhere.
year. Don't touch that.
I know you
radio
showed it to me a
dial.
while ago.
Did we ever play it on the air?
I don't think so.
Nitrogen
Really?
is one
Oh,
of your
geez.
biggest input investments, so protect it with Anvol Nitrogen Stabilizer and Super U Premium Fertilizer from Koch Agronomic Services. Anvol delivers 310% more active ingredient than leading competitors, while Super U provides complete protection against volatilization, denitrification, and leaching. Don't risk your yield with diluted products. Choose proven active ingredient loads for proven nitrogen protection.
Service and savings. It's Woodman's.
Hello, I'm Phil Woodman, helping you shop cheaper for beans and tomatoes. Tip Top Tomatoes, big can, 89 cents. Sure Fine Beans, 49 cents. It's chili season. Enjoy. Ay, caramba, do we have cheap prices on beans and tomatoes. Better products, better prices sold by better people because we're employee-owned.
It's Woodman's.
Question on the soybean side. Has China been in the market?
Do you want
buying those
to
beans?
play that?
has been told us they would be. And on the corn side, I mean, shipments continue to stay strong, well above last year's pace in the corn market. Now we can get an idea too, maybe where the sales are.
If you send it to me, I can play
Can I
it.
send it to you? Can we actually put the video?
Maybe a little bit limited.
If you send it to me right now.
All right. Let's go
And
across
getting
now,
this
okay.
government open will help
Oh,
provide
she's
some of that
preparing.
clarity on the export front.
John Heinberg, the market advisor with Total
Aaron
Farm Marketing
Zomers,
out of West
Civic,
Bend, along with us. We'll take a look at how the markets closed today, right after this.
The Wisconsin Agribusiness Classic is Wisconsin's premier agribusiness industry event, drawing interest and participation
Says
from
use
all
as mail
segments of
drop or
agribusiness
tries to
throughout
need
the Midwestern
attachment.
states. Mark January
All right,
12th
I did it as an
and 15th down on
attachment.
your
See if it
calendar
came
to
through.
be at the Kalahari Resort and Convention Center in Wisconsin Dells. The depths of coverage and exhibits provided during the conference makes it clear why the Wisconsin Agribusiness Classic is Wisconsin's premier industry event. For more information or to register, visit wiagribusiness.org.
I'm Kylie Allen for the Midwest Farm Report with a look at your closing markets this Tuesday. From Chicago, cash corn.
Well, you know what
closed
we
up
could do
2
is I could play just the
4.32,
beginning
and new
jingle
crop
part
corn
and then
also
play your
closed
video.
up 2 1/4 at 4.70. Cash soybeans closed down.
Well, let me
2
set it up
3/4
first.
at
I don't want to play
Right,
without
right,
setting
right.
up.
while
Yeah,
new
yeah.
crop soybeans were up.
Tell me if the video
at
comes through.
11
I don't see the email
Cash
yet.
It might not work. I might just have to play it
and new
from here.
crop wheat was up 3 3/4 at 5.72.5. Taking a look at dairy, December Class 3 milk contracts are trading down 25 cents at 16.90, and January Class 3 milk is trading down 39 cents at 16.26 a hundredweight. 40-pound block.
You sent
cheese
it to
closed
my
down 2
work email,
3/4
right?
at
Yeah, but I sent it to
163
Civic.
1/4, and AA butter closed down 1 cent at 1.50. For the Midwest Farm Report, I'm Kylie
It
Allen.
might not go through because of the
Parallel
video.
parking
It
in
might still
Madison?
just be uploading the video or
Yeah.
something.
Finding real conversation on the radio? Probable. With 92.7 WMDX.
I'm meteorologist Rodney Price. A mix of clouds and sunshine for the afternoon and a breezy Veterans Day with highs in the lower 40s. Southwest winds up to 25. Skies turning partly cloudy tonight. It stays breezy with mid-30s.
Do you have Google Drive on your phone?
Wednesday near 50.
I think
it's
so.
42 at our studios.
That's fine. I'll just play the audio. I'll just do that.
Doctors
That's
Without Borders is delivering life-saving medical care where it's needed most in communities.
I'll let you know if it does come through.
From bandaging war-wounded patients in Sudan to providing clean drinking water in Haiti, we're in more than 70 countries worldwide, bringing patients from sick to recovering, from emergency to aid, from crisis to care. This life-saving care is made possible by a global movement of supporters like you. Thank you.
Hey there, Wisconsin. Tom Hartman here. Democracy is not a spectator sport, so join me each and every weekday right here on Civic Media for the Tom Hartman program from 11 a.m. to 2 p.m.
30 seconds.
Covering the news of the day.
Gracias. fun doing it. Welcome back to the Todd Allbaugh Show on the Civic Media Radio Network. It is now 35 minutes past the hour of 3 o'clock on this Tuesday, November 11th, 2025. Happy Veterans Day to especially all of those that have served, that have worn the uniform here and abroad in the state of Wisconsin, in the United States, around the world. That means something to those of us who did not serve. And thank you. My Grandpa Wallace, my mom's dad served, was a veteran. Very, very proud of that. And fewer and fewer World War II veterans left, by the way. Then it's going to go to the Korean War, Vietnam War, then the Gulf War. I mean, all these, whether they served in wartime or not, they're all heroes. So thank you. That's why we have the flag on the set here today. If you're watching on Facebook, YouTube, what used to be Twitter, Twix, Twitter X, whatever you want to call it here. And many thanks again to Terry Barr for being on the show earlier. Go to civicmedia.us and read Terry's reporting on this guy named Harvey Higley, who I did not know anything about until today when I stumbled upon Terry's reporting at civicmedia.us. It's a great story of this Wisconsinite, Harvey Higley, who helped change Armistice Day to Veterans Day, who got us the GI Bill in large part to help veterans go back to school after they'd served, who helped integrate racially our veteran services. This guy should have a statue in Wisconsin, Harvey Higley. And we should also change the fact that we're the only state in the country that does not list Veterans Day as a state holiday. So I'm all on board for that. We're going to work with Terry Barr. But that will be a question to every gubernatorial candidate that comes on the show. Would you be willing to sign a bill making Veterans Day a state holiday? We already have our answer from Lieutenant Governor Sarah Rodriguez, who has already said yes. She was on the show earlier today. All right, here's a little news you can use on the lighter side. And now I've told this show before. Several years ago, I was in the coffee business after I left the Republican Party and got out of state politics, pursued a long-time passion and dream of opening up a coffee shop in Madison, buying coffee directly from farmers in El Salvador. And we weren't big enough to buy from the big Sitco, and I don't like to buy a lot of stuff from those places anyway. I like to buy local when I can. So one of the things, we wanted to make sure we bought Wisconsin milk. Organic Wisconsin milk. So we would occasionally use Sassy Cow Creamery here in Dane County, but more often would use Organic Valley milk. And it was cheapest at Woodman's on the west side of Madison. But I would go there late after I got the shop all closed up and got things ready for the next day. Oftentimes, it would be 11:30, midnight before I would get to Woodman's to go shopping for supplies for the next couple of days. And, you're a little punch drunk. Not that I had anything alcoholic to drink. I was too tired. But you're worn out. You're goofy. There's really nobody around but the stock people at that hour of the night or early morning. And my friends and I, we love, I'm here to promote, Woodman's is a great company, employee owned. But Phil Woodman, we should try to get Phil Woodman on the show, Summers. Phil Woodman is one of the iconic owners of Woodman's. And he has a distinctive voice and mannerism when he stands in front of these big displays of toilet paper and whatnot, and he does the TV ads. And I'm greatly entertained. Do you understand? By Phil Woodman. It's fantastic. So I thought, well, this will be fun for my friends and I propped up my cell phone with the video on in the aisle, and I stood across from it next to a big rack of a big display of toilet paper, Charmin, and I recorded my own Woodman's ad just for my own silliness and to amuse my friends. So I can't figure out how to transfer this over so Zommers can show you on the video. But I'm going to play you now. This from about 7 years ago. I was at a Woodman's at midnight, and I recorded my own Woodman's promo. So here we go. I'm not sure how good the audio will be, but we're going to try this. This is my Woodman's ad standing in Woodman's doing my Phil Woodman impersonation. Oh, hang on. See, I messed that up. Hang on. Here we go. All right, here we go.
Hey,
folks, Phil Woodman here with another great special. Scott Paper Towels, normally $5.99 a pack, now $4.99 for a 6-pack. Better prices, better service, better products, because we're employee-owned.
Better prices, better products sold by better people because we're employee-owned.
Service and savings. It's Woodman's.
So there you go. There's Todd's version, and there was, thanks to Zommers, the real Phil Woodman. Not bad for midnight.
Not bad.
On just, off the fly. So, so you're like, Todd, why are you bringing up Woodman's? Because we have news you can use. Just coming across Channel 3000, the CBS affiliate, because I know a lot of people shop all over the state of Woodman's. Headline, Woodman's implements cash policy change as penny supply runs dry. Now, Zommers, we've talked about this. They're not making pennies anymore. They're going extinct. So, Dateline on Alaska, Wisconsin. Woodman's grocery stores have implemented new cash, but this is not a bit, this is real, implemented new cash handling policies in response to a nationwide penny shortage, joining other regional retailers adapting to the end of U.S. penny production. The employee-owned grocery chain began rounding all cash transactions to the nearest nickel on Monday, yesterday. Purchases ending in 1 cent, 2 cents, 6 cents, or 7 cents are rounded down, while totals ending in 3, 4, 8, or 9 cents are rounded up. A more significant change takes place on December 8th, when Woodman's self-checkout registers will no longer accept cash payments. The self-service station will only process card payments, including debit or credit cards, Discover, Mobile Pay, EBT, food benefit cards, and Woodman's gift cards. Customers who prefer cash, mi comadre, cash is king, she says. Those who prefer cash can continue using staffed checkout lanes. So you get to see a person if you want to do cash. Woodman's approach differs from Quick Trip's recent policy change, which rounds all cash purchases down in the customer's favor. The U.S. Treasury ended penny production in 2025. Woodman's posted notices this week explaining both policy changes to customers. So there you go, Zommers. The penny, once again, taking it on the chin.
Indeed. And make sure before you go grocery shopping that you know the place you're going will take your money.
Yes, yeah, that's really. I mean, you gotta make sure you plan ahead now in these days. All right, let's go to the phone lines. We have Kurt in Madison calling in 855-752-4842 855-752-4842. Kurt, you wanted to say something in regards to this being Veterans Day as we continue to mention and celebrate that today on this November 11th, 2025. Kurt in Madison on MDX. What do you got?
Yeah, good afternoon, great fall day. For anyone that's not aware of Wounded Warrior Project, they're a great organization. The money is used wisely. There are many, probably more country musicians that back Wounded Warrior than anybody else I know. But if you're looking, to do something different on Veterans Day, I encourage everybody to do that. Go to their website, donate.
I think that's a great idea, Kurt. The Wounded Warrior Project is fantastic. Appreciate you calling Kurt Madison on WMDX. Also, I mention this every year for Memorial Day, that the actor Gary Sinise, and now I'm blanking on the other actor's name that does it with him, but they oversee and MC the National Memorial Service in Washington, D.C., and they're always promoting. They're very involved in the Wounded Warrior program as well. So, the Wounded Warrior Program, really great organization to get involved. And if you can afford to give a few bucks or a lot of bucks, would encourage you to do that as well.
The website is woundedwarriorproject.org.
Very good. woundedwarriorproject.org. And I would also encourage you to seek out your local veterans, VFW, American Legion Post. There may be organizations at your local hospital or clinic who are raising money locally to be spent locally on veterans, getting them, providing transportation, because a lot of people live in rural areas in the state, and they have to drive into Madison or Milwaukee, Green Bay, Eau Claire, Superior to get service. So do what we can to help out those veterans who have done everything for us. Great reminder, Kurt. Appreciate that. It is now 15 before the hour of 4 o'clock here. Wanted to mention this. As you know, the U.S. Immigration and Customs Enforcement, a.k.a. ICE, is using an AI-powered system to monitor posts on social media platforms. But that's just a small part of this administration's domestic surveillance. Remember DOJ's data snatch and grab at Social Security, the IRS, and other federal agencies? Well, ICE is building a new system that combines your social media posts, the government's data on you, data from commercial sellers, facial recognition technology, and your geolocation. ICE plans to have dozens of analysts working 24/7, able to compile a dossier on anyone within minutes and make it available to all ICE agents in the field. A surveillance system of this scale has a name, Big Brother, first used in the book 1984 by George Orwell. But you're not in this country illegally, so you have nothing to worry about, right? This story doesn't affect you, right? Think again. This Trump has targeted for investigation any speech it considers anti-capitalist, anti-Christian, or anti-American. The next Trump could deem that your beliefs, your associates, your speech puts you on an enemy's list. The ICE surveillance system will rank America, once known as the land of the free, with China, North Korea, Oceania, and other regimes in its control of its own people. So yes, Virginia, this holiday season, there is a big brother, and he is watching you. Thoughts on this Veterans Day, as so many people went to war, were wounded, and so very many gave the ultimate sacrifice in order to protect the land of the free. I'm not exactly sure what I just read, this iteration of our country today, is what those folks fought for. And I would hope that we will all remember that moving forward and remember those people who did give their lives. 855-752-4842. Let's go quickly to Milwaukee, WAUK. Charles in Milwaukee. About a minute, Charles. What do you got?
Yep. Hello, Todd. Happy Veterans Day.
Happy Veterans Day.
My question is, what happened to all of the don't tread on me people? And I don't want the government in my business. The government is
the Tea Party folks.
Big.
Yeah, my old party.
Right. Where are all of those people at?
We have not heard a lot from them. Great call, Charles. Great point. Yeah, that's why Trumpism, MAGAism truly isn't conservative. Dick Cheney, it wasn't even conservative for Dick Cheney, for goodness sake. Come on back. Warren Buffett is going quiet. We'll explain great advice on the other side. It's the Allbaugh Show in Civic Media.
You're listening to 92.7 WMDX, Madison's home for the Maggie Dawn Show, Monday through Friday from 4 to 6 p.m.
At Furlough
Where was
Mattress,
the article
Black
you read?
Friday's going on all month long.
What's that?
Get a
What
free
I just
adjustable
read?
base upgrade with a mattress
Oh, that's
set
from
purchase.
TJ.
Okay,
Some-
it
something
sounded
he-
like it was from TJ,
Yeah,
but I wasn't 100%
it's something
sure.
he compiled, and he usually puts some of the sourcing on here, but it's from him, so I know it's accurate.
Right, yeah. I just didn't know if there was a source for me to go to, but no, that's...
Thanks for
Or
asking.
a higher quality mattress anywhere else for less. A lot less. American made, locally crafted.
Could have been my guesses
Join
with
Elsa's
Heather
Own Horror
Cox
Show on
Richardson
Plaza Drive
stuff,
for
but
karaoke every Friday and
or
Saturday
part of
at
that.
8:30 for margaritas, pizza, and wings.
Not the writing.
Plus,
I mean, that's
stop in for lunch.
right.
Monday
He
through
didn't
Friday from
plagiarize
11
the
to 3.
writing.
No,
Elsa's
that's
Own
his-
Horror
just the
Show.
yeah,
You
factoid.
won't be
right.
hungry, just happy. Herbal
He sourced
Aspect
to them.
is
He didn't
branded.
plagiarize
That's
them.
right.
Yes.
Madison's go-to cannabis
I'll be
destination
clear.
now has a brand new location in Sun Prairie.
Wait, 4 locations? That's a high level of convenience.
With 3 Madison locations and now Sun Prairie, a great cannabis experience is always close by. Our expert staff is here to help, whether you walk in, call, or order online. Mention Radio 420 and get a special discount. So stop by Herbal Aspect in Sun Prairie, because great cannabis isn't just a pipe dream.
Nice. I'm rolling over now.
Herbal Aspect.
When you switch to Progressive, you could save bundling your home and auto. Then you could put that money towards some of the surprisingly more expensive things in life.
May I help you? I just wanted to request a late checkout, please. Of course. That's $30
Steve and Eau Claire on the line went to China in 2019,
and
and
checkout, then that probably means no one is
like
staying
the
in
facial
that room.
recognition
So
and
if it's
tracking
empty,
there, he
maybe
has some
I can
insight
just
on
stay
that.
a
All
few
right, cool.
extra
Well,
hours.
yeah, we'll take your call.
Aren't you
Don't have a lot of time,
adorable?
Steve. We'll take it
Life
quickly.
costs
Thank
a
you.
lot, so bundle and you could save with Progressive. Progressive Casualty Insurance Company, affiliates, and other insurers. Not available in all states.
A suicide on a team is devastating and a real risk for veterans. If you or someone you know is struggling, taking action for mental health is a brave step. Reach out now at reachoutwis.org for local resources available to you and your loved ones.
Paid for by Advancing a Healthier Wisconsin Endowment, with support by the Medical College of Wisconsin, the War Memorial Center, and reachoutwis.org.
The John and Gordy Show.
I used to use the cart at Aldi. You never know when one of those carts had that quarter in it.
That's right.
But I don't use that anymore. I use one of those carry bags.
Oh, sure.
Is that toxic manly enough?
I'll ask someone at Aldi next time I go. How about that?
You'll come in here the next day with a black eye.
Mind your own business.
Run your own life.
Weekday morning,
Back in
6 to
30
8
seconds.
All right,
on
thank you.
92.7 WMDX and the Civic Media app.
The Elder Care Locator is here to help you live your best life as you age at home. Our call center advisors are ready to connect you with trustworthy local experts. Help is just a phone call away.
Welcome back to the Todd Allbaugh Show on the Civic Media Radio Network. It is now 8 minutes before the hour of 4 o'clock. At the top of the hour, CBS or ABC News, depending upon which of our great stations you're listening to. A check of weather. Our great sports reporter, Mike Clemens, on that tough Packer loss last night, 10-7 to the Philadelphia Eagles. But better news, hopefully tonight. Number 24, Wisconsin men's basketball team taking on David Letterman's alma mater, Ball State, at the Kohl Center here in Madison. Pre-game show at 7 o'clock. Clemens will have all the updates for you. Listen in Richland Center, Wisconsin Rapids, Amory, and now in Ironwood, Michigan tonight. You can also stream it for free on the Civic Media app as well on those great stations. And then after Clemens, we'll have another great edition of the Maggie Dawn Show from 4 until 6, followed by another great edition of Nightlight with Pete Schwabe. Quickly want to go to the phone lines. WCFW, the Tap in Eau Claire. Steve in Eau Claire listening in. And Steve, you're going to talk about this information we're getting in now on customs immigration, U.S. Immigration and Customs Enforcement, ICE, looking to up their AI-powered systems to basically create a big brother system here in the United States. You have some insight quickly in your travels overseas.
Yeah, in 2019, I was fortunate to get to go to China for 3 months, and the first thing that they did when I walked in was snap my picture. And from there on, any place I went to, a tourist attraction or whatever, even walking around, I knew I was being tracked. And it felt really, really, really creepy. And, you know, it was something that Steve Holzhausen? Mm-hmm. I'm sorry, I'm in the line at the pharmacy.
Oh, that's fine.
So you know, it was really quite strange, and you know, and so get the feeling, because I know that they were able to track me when I was walking around too. A lot of cameras.
Creepy and also interesting. Thanks, Steve, for that perspective, and thanks for listening to us up there in the beautiful Chippewa Valley on WCFW, the Tap in Eau Claire. All right, I want to end with this. Many of you know the name Warren Buffett, one of the richest people in the world, the head of Berkshire Hathaway, who is stepping down as CEO, putting his kids in charge and other people. He wrote his final letter to the investors as chairman of the board at Berkshire Hathaway and was put out either yesterday or this morning. And he starts out by saying to my fellow shareholders, I will no longer be writing Berkshire's annual report or talking endlessly at the annual meeting. As the British would say, I'm going quiet, sort of. And then he goes on to talk a lot about the company and his kids, who are in their 70s, by the way. He's 95, I believe, taking over. And a lot about the company. He offers some great things. And then I want to read this, if you allow me to. It says a few final thoughts from Warren Buffett on perhaps self-serving observation. I'm happy to say I feel better about the second half of my life than the first. My advice: don't beat yourself up over past mistakes. Learn at least a little from them and move on. It's never too late to improve. Get the right heroes and copy them. You can start with Tom Murphy. He was the best. Remember Alfred Nobel, later of the Nobel Prize fame, who reportedly read his own obituary that was mistakenly printed when his brother died, and a newspaper got it mixed up. He was horrified at what he read and realized he should change his behavior. Don't count on a newsroom mix-up. Decide what you would like your obituary to say and live the life to deserve it. Greatness does not come about through accumulating great amounts of money, great amounts of publicity, or great power in government. When you help someone in any of 1,000 of ways, you help the world. Kindness is costless, but also priceless. Whether you're religious or not, it's hard to beat the golden rule as a guide to behavior. I write this as one who has been thoughtless countless of times and made mistakes, but also became very lucky in learning from some wonderful friends how to behave better. Still a long way from perfect, however. Keep in mind that the cleaning lady is as much of a human being as the chairman. I wish all who read this a very happy Thanksgiving. Yes, even the jerks. It's never too late to change. Remember to thank America for maximizing your opportunities, but it is inevitably capricious and sometimes venal in distributing its rewards. Choose your heroes very carefully and then emulate them. You will never be perfect, but you can always be better. The words of Warren Buffett as he steps down and retires from Berkshire Hathaway. I think Zomer's a good thing to remember anytime, but in particular on this Veterans Day, because if you read this entire letter from Warren Buffett, he talks about how fortunate he was to be born in America. And as rough as things can seem right now for a lot of folks, it's still a land of opportunity in many ways. And we have the opportunity, if we so choose, to take advantage of that and to be better people. So, again, I want to thank all of the people out there who have served this country, who have worn the uniform, who are our veterans, to say thank you very much for all you've done for this country.
Yes, and thank you to my dad, Andy Zomers, for your service in the Navy.
Very good. A naval officer. That's fantastic. Does he do anything special for Veterans Day?
Not really, but he has a hat for the submarine that he was on and things like that.
And that's a great reminder as well. A lot of people will wear the ball cap that has particularly
Their
naval people, the ship that they were on, or a Vietnam vet, or a Korean War vet, or a Gulf War vet. If you see that, simply walk over politely and say, "Excuse me, I just want to say thank you for your service." It'll mean the world. As Warren Buffett said, kindness costs nothing. Great show today. Really appreciate Lieutenant Governor Sarah Rodriguez for being here. Great reporting from award-winning journalist Terry Barr today. Zomers on the board. All of you for listening and calling and participating. We thank you and appreciate you more than you will ever know. Maggie Dawn is next. Todd saying, whatever you're fighting for, whatever you believe in, do not give up. Keep banging your drum. We'll see you tomorrow.
Keep banging on your drum, and they will hear you.
Thank you, everybody. We appreciate you very much. We'll see you mañana.
Adios.
Bye-bye.